AFTV, Mo, really depressing defeat. More depressing, not from, I look back at some of the defeats earlier in the season, I'm like, depressing, shocking performance, no attacking, no creativity. No, this one's different.
Yeah.
For a half in that game, I was like, I'm excited.
Yeah.
This is great. This is free-flowing, attacking. We're away from home. We're taking it to Wolves, scored a great goal, had a goal, great goal disallowed, could have scored in the first seconds of the game. A really progressive football from Arsenal. And I was getting excited. And then as we draw towards the end of the half, it all turns on one incident, the whole game.
Yeah.
I want to find out from you, what did you make of that incident?
Well, I'll just echo what you've said at the start, right? Because today is one of the most baffling games I've watched in a long time. I'm livid. I'm so angry, but I'm so impressed with the team. I'm impressed with the manager. I'm impressed with the football. I'm impressed with the youngsters. There's so much good about today. But how have I come out of that? All of these positives. How have I come out of the game so angry and frustrated? And honestly, I'm baffled. I'm baffled at what, how I'm feeling right now after what was one of the best first halves of football in so long. We were so good. So good. Like, not just the case of, we managed to grind a result out. We looked good. I was watching that, rubbing my hands, thinking, maybe we are back. Because from the first whistle, we knew what we were doing. We knew there was a weakness. We had clearly worked on the weakness down Wolves' left-hand side. We had exposed it and got through multiple occasions. And I was thinking, matter of time before we go and get a comfortable win here. And then David Luiz. And do you know what? One thing we need to get out early here, right? So many Arsenal fans on Twitter getting this completely wrong. I appreciate people are watching this from all over the world. So you might not have the benefit of the analysis that we had in England. I was watching BT Sport at halftime and they got the analysis bang on. And that was to explain why the way the rules were applied were correct. But the rules in themselves are absolutely stupid. But they were applied correctly. Okay? So the thing is, we can't have complaints about referees because they just exact the rules. We should be complaining about the actual flipping dumb rules. Because the referee explained, so let me explain. BT Sport have a referee in-house who's part of the punditry team. And when they have controversial decisions, they go to that referee. So he can explain from a professional point of view, not Twitter finger point of view, a professional point of view, why certain decisions have been reached. And he explained that because David Luiz did not show an intention to play the ball, the rules are so poorly put together that means that it was a red card. Had he intentionally fouled the player, had he gone for the ball, even knowing I'm never going to get it, and intentionally fouled the player, because the referee would have seen him make a movement to the ball, it would have been a yellow card. These rules... Which is,
you said David Luiz. How can you blame David Luiz?
I'll explain that.
So basically, what they're saying is, take out the player, chop him down, and you get yellow.
Exactly.
Right? Let him run, which is what I remember there was an incident at Chelsea when I had a big argument with DT about it, because I was like, that was the one where he did chop down the player and he got sent off. And I was like, David Luiz, let the guy run through. Let him score.
100%.
Right? Let him score. And then when he scores now, at least we've got 11 men on the pitch. It's 1-1, we can come back.
Exactly.
He gets sent off.
Yeah, but I'll explain why I will blame David Luiz in detail. But the point is, we have to separate our frustration as Arsenal fans and the decision to the rules of the game. And
it reminded me of that one that I saw the other day with Villa, where a guy ran about 10, 20 yards from an offside position to win the ball back.
Yeah.
To them to score. And they did change that rule afterwards. So whether they'll change this one, because again, this seems ridiculous.
Yeah, but listen, these rules clearly have been written in a way that doesn't show an appreciation for having played the game. And
Yeah.
and that's what it leads to, red cards like this. But the problem is, right, and this is now where I'll talk about David Luiz. We're less than a minute away from halftime, or about a minute away from halftime with a 1-goal lead. David Luiz is in his back line of 4. The ball gets kicked out by Bernd Leno, and Wolves win the header, and the header's coming back to David Luiz. Thomas Partey, by the time David Luiz vacates his position and pushes up to be at the back of the forward, Thomas Partey is 2 yards away from David Luiz. There is, firstly, when you go right back to the start of that clip, there is no reason for David Luiz to leave his position, vacate, and leave all that space in behind him. No reason for it at all. He's also got to appreciate you have to adapt your game as you get older. David Luiz does not have the beating in terms of straight line pace as to the Wolves forward. You have to realize if you're going to vacate the space behind you and then you're in a foot race, you're not going to catch him. That should be the second thing that's going on in his head in terms of how he's going to defend today. The third thing, when that ball has now gone over and he's in that foot race that he's stupidly put himself in by being too assertive, even though he hasn't got the pace to defend with that level of assertion, the mistake he's made then, you are now the wrong side of the striker and he's running into the box. Anyone that has played football has either done this or this has happened to them, where your foot will clip their knee or their knee will clip your foot. You can't tell. It's very hard to tell who's at fault in that, but that's what will happen, and you will potentially take away the striker's footing. That's just when you're someone's running ahead of you and you're running in their kind of leg space that they're leaving behind them. That's what's going to happen, or at least that's a big risk in terms of what's going to happen. As soon as you get into that penalty area, put the brakes on. Don't go into that space where you can clip their foot. And what really annoys me about David Luiz, he's made the first mistake by vacating the space and leaving it in behind him. And then the second mistake is when you watch the replay, he's running side by side. There's a gap between David Luiz and the striker. Once he realizes that that striker is now goal side of him and he's behind him, run down the right-hand side. You never know. The striker might try and take the keeper on or something like that. Run down the right-hand side. There is no point in crossing the path behind the striker. No point. You are never going to win the ball from that position, so why do it? The only thing that can happen is a clash of knee and foot and giving away a penalty. So this is why David Luiz is at fault, is yet another example of David Luiz making stupid decisions, game management. Stay in your position. Stay in that flat back 4. Let Thomas Partey, who is having a blinder, do his job in midfield rather than making him stop because now you're in his space. You could have thrown a blanket over Thomas Partey and David Luiz after David Luiz went there for no reason.
Ball shouldn't have been sent off, though. I mean, that's the...
No, he should have, Robbie. That's the rules.
Yeah, I know, but to say it's all his fault. No, I think that's...
No, listen. The rules are stupid. That's what I've started off with. The rules are stupid. But the rules are the same for Arsenal as they are for Wolves. Now, it's up to you if you want to have a brain about the way you play the game, or if you want to be a dumb defender and go and let these rules take advantage of, let these rules kind of ruin a football game for you.
Maybe you don't know what the rules are, because I don't.
Should.
And you know what? Look at the game the other day with that incident I told you about.
Tyrone Mings. Yeah,
no one knew what the rules were then. Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? All these, everyone's confused at the moment.
Robbie, it's the same thing, right? Tyrone Mings, when he came out and actually admitted he didn't know the rules, I thought, wow, like that's unacceptable to me. You should be doing that. You should be researching and knowing the rules. They obviously get updated. Every time there's a rule change at the start of the season, they get told. They should be aware of that. But David Luiz is to blame for the red card today. Though the rules are stupid, they were applied correctly.
Okay. Is Leno to blame?
Of course. I mean, honestly.
That's an obvious one.
What was he thinking?
I don't know, man. And that makes it more difficult now going into that game against Villa. And it was a big setback today. But can we go and get anything against Villa?
Yes, of course we can. Like we again, I'm talking about Arsenal fans separating the stupid rules from, the poor decision-making of David Luiz and how the rules were applied correctly, we also, as Arsenal fans now, need to separate this result from the performance when it was 11-11. Based on that performance, I'm more confident about this team than I was at the start of the day, because I saw something that was actually very, very positive. And that's why I'm so frustrated today that, just all you have to do is stay in your back four, hold that line, and then none of this would have happened. And then we compound that with more stupid decisions by David Luiz running into the space. And honestly, everyone watch it back. David Luiz makes a diagonal run. If he makes a straight run, no penalty. We might go in at 1-1, but no penalty. He stupidly goes across. And, I just think to myself, against Villa, of course we can go and get a result, but not with stupidity like that. And I just think, look, Arteta learned his lesson with picking the same old people, picking Willian and this and that and the other. And now he's picking youngsters relentlessly. And Emile Smith-Rowe and Bukayo Saka especially showed why, because they started off brilliantly. He also needs to learn a lesson now. Why is Gabriel on the bench if he's fit to play and David Luiz is starting?
David Luiz was man of the match in the previous game or the last game, wasn't it, against Man United? So
he was, yeah. And then the game prior to that,
today.
The game prior to that, Robbie, against Southampton, he made mistake after mistake. And this is the thing. This is the story of David Luiz's career. And there's no doubting on his day he can be brilliant. But it's good, good, bad, good, good, awful. That's his pattern. And he's simply not consistent enough. We've watched him for a long time at Arsenal. Never mind previous experience. He's simply not consistent enough. Gabriel has won player of the month 3 months in a row since he joined the club. Barely put a foot wrong, and that's whilst he's adjusting to Premier League football. Play him.
Today's show is sponsored by Profit Accumulator, the #1 match betting service in the UK. Match betting is different to gambling. With gambling, you bet on one side, and if that side loses, you lose. With match betting, you bet on both sides. That means no matter what the outcome, you're a winner. When you sign up to Profit Accumulator, they will walk you through the whole process of how to do match betting, and as long as you follow what they tell you, you cannot lose. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description right now for your free trial, and you can start earning some real cash.